Welcome, crypto fam, to the number one daily Bitcoin pod. Happy Sunday fun day. In today's show, I'll be breaking down the latest Bitcoin technical analysis as macro expert Luke Groman says he's super bullish on Bitcoin for the next 6 to 12 months. I'll be explaining why. We'll also be discussing the latest from Max Keiser. He says you can't ban Bitcoin. You can only ban yourself from Bitcoin. Preach. We'll also be discussing ETF investors are the strong hands after gobbling up Bitcoin amid this recent sell-off. I'll be breaking down the latest from top Bloomberg analysts. We'll also be discussing RFK Jr. sees cryptocurrency as the best inflation hedge, and he says crypto takes control away from the government. We'll also be discussing a breaking story. Hospitality worker caught with $2.5 billion in Bitcoin, found guilty of money laundering, one of the largest Bitcoin seizures of all time, if not the largest. We'll also be discussing a Bitcoin price prediction for the halving of $500,000 per BTC, as well as the latest from ARK Invest Cathie Wood, who says BlackRock and Fidelity ETF Bombshell will trigger a massive $75 trillion Bitcoin market cap, along with a $3.8 million Bitcoin by the year 2030. We'll also be taking a look at the overall crypto market. All this, plus so much more, in today's show. Now, welcome, crypto fam. What it do? Let me know if the stream is smooth today. My apologies for yesterday. I had to adjust my bitrate settings, it seems, considering I'm on the mobile this week here in Florida. So, yeah, let me know if we're smooth and clear. I appreciate it. We're pumping, obviously. Bitcoin is up 600 on the day. We reclaimed 66 earlier, still up roughly, $650. Good little weekend pumpage action. Shout out to Bring Facts. Shout out to Megadon, Algus. And this is live and interactive, so let me know where you're tuning in from. Family Sunday Fun Day, One House, what it do? Ernest, let's go. Back home from my fishing trip. Welcome back. Bring Facts. He says, came home with 100 pounds of fish. Good Lord, that's a lot of fish. Smooth and clear. Yeah. Appreciate it, Dankness. Good morning, brother. Beautiful here in Huntington Beach, California. Hey, shout out Happy Hodler. Rocky Balboa, the Italian stallion. What it do? Good to hear. Appreciate it. 2 spoonbills, 15 crabbies, and 20 white bass, and 1 more shroom. Nice. Enjoying life, I see out there. Smooth as what? Appreciate that, Lazarus. Good to note. I got the mobile settings down, so now we should be golden. Hey, everyone. What it do, Bina? Bitcoin, pump it up. Say that again. Pump it up. You know how we do. Dayton, Ohio, soon to be Costa Rica. Pura vida to that. Lake the Great. I've spent a few years in Costa Rica, beautiful paradise. Jonathan in Fort Lauderdale. Welcome, family. Shout out all my Florida broskies. Good to see you looking good. Thank you. Yay, bother. Welcome, welcome. Nick in the building. Nick Schmidt. What it do? 2 for 1, 100. Rocket ship. Send it.
Pump it up, don't you know? Pump it up. You've got to pump it up, don't you know? Pump it up.
Let's get it as we continue to pump. Good to see y'all. Happy Sunday. Church is in session. JV preaching the holy gospel of Satosh as we do each and every day. Let's go. JV, in both Florida and Puerto Rico, you live in a new construction. It can insulate from solid grounding. All good from Hawaii. Cheers. Aloha. Chris Robinson, good to see you. Mammoth Lake, California, on a snowboard trip. Nice. Catching that fresh snow. Lucky one in Spain. Shout out Spain. Bitcoin is very good. See, great vibes, bro. Cheers. Salute. Izo. Hopa Jauza. Send it. Greetings from the Dutch. Cheers, family. Shout out to the Dutch. Whoa. I love it. Fax says he's smoking in church. Whoa. Shout out Peter for Hey Win. What it do? JV, I'm just joking about I got you, brother. It's all good, Silas. Shout out Robbie P. He shouted me out at the Bitcoin Australia conference. He posted the clips on X. I retweeted them. You guys be sure to check them out. They're pretty lit. He gave me a shout out at the end of his performance. Pretty cool. So shout out Robbie P, creator of the Bitcoin slang.
Hey, pay attention on how I break this Bitcoin slang down.
Check it. Bitcoin is the best. I appreciate it. Compliment to Bitcoin is a compliment to self. They pop out of everywhere. Clearwater, Ulmerton 19. Yo, I was in Clearwater last night for dinner and for sunset. So a small world. RIP Russia, stay strong, says Why Bother. Good morning, Devon. Good to see you. In Bitcoin, we trust. Greetings from Greece. Cheers to that.
Check it. A Bitcoin is a currency. Blockchain is technology. Transactions take place on it constantly.
Marseille, Poland. Welcome, welcome. We got cats here from all over the world. In Bitcoin, we always trust. Stacy Rocks. I love that comment, by the way. And what's good, Mark Anderson and Jungle Boy. Welcome. With love from Russia, where the nation is mourning the deaths in Moscow. We need as many people explaining Bitcoin and crypto to the market as possible. This is because most people never understood their lifelong fiat usage in the first place. Very well said, Silas, and that's exactly what we're doing. We're here to show people a better way. If someone's looking to unplug from the matrix, we have the solution which separates money from state, which is Bitcoin, the only incorruptible money in existence, the only money with a finite limited supply, which is unconfiscatable, indestructible, and un-F-wittable. But anyways, fam, if you're new to the channel, it is important to make sure to subscribe, support the movement. We're trying to get to 100,000 subs alongside 100,000 Bitcoin price action leading into the halving. Now, this is pod episode number 1589. I'm your host, JV. It's Sunday, March 24th, 2024. Let's kick it off with our market watch as we do each and every day. Bitcoin in the green, leading the charge here. We tapped 66,200 here during this live stream. We have Ether above 3,400. We have Doge and ICP amongst the top gainers, as the vast majority of the altcoin market is also in the green. And checking out coin market cap, we're back at a 2.5 trillion market cap with a $70 billion in volume in the past 24 hours, along with a 51.7% Bitcoin dominance and in 16.4% Ether dominance. And checking out the top 100 crypto gainers for the past 24 hours, Conflux up 22%, ZEC up 12%, and BTT up just over 10%. And checking out the crypto bubbles to get more of a visual perspective, safe to say, I'd say like 75% of the alts are actually in the green right now as the market cap continues to pump it up. You know what I mean?
Look, pump it up if your game and went long. When the dip hit, you just stayed like King Kong.
Some of those top gainers, Hex, CFX, Ondo, OP, BTT, and XEC. And zooming out on the monthly for a more broader perspective, safe to say over 90% of the alts have had a heck of a alt pump season, especially the meme coins leading the pack. Pepe up over 500%, along with Floki up 600%, and Whiff, which came out of nowhere and now is up over 700%. And checking out the crypto greed and fear index, we're currently rated a 74 greed. Yesterday was a 73. Last week, a 79 extreme greed, along with last month a 76 in extreme greed. And checking out the Bitcoin halving countdown, this is pretty exciting. Only 21 days left until the biggest event in crypto, which only occurs every 4 years. That's the Bitcoin halving, scheduled currently to take place on, even a day sooner, just readjusted. Now April 14th, 20 days away, virtually 21 days. So 3 weeks left to go. And it gives you all the details here with the difficulty, 83.9 T. The Bitcoin market cap at 1.29 trillion. And then you have the event block happening, which is at block 840,000. And right now we're at block 836,119. So we're fast approaching. And just note that this is an estimate. That's why it's readjusted in real time, because it's all dependent upon the block. We don't know the exact date. So it could be as early as April 14th. It may be 420. When do you think the Bitcoin halving will occur? And right now, $1 is equivalent to 1,516 Satoshis. Let's see by the end of this cycle how many Satoshis you can buy for $1. I'm pretty confident it's only going to be a few hundred. So maybe if even that, some predict one day that one Satoshi can be $1, which would mean $100 million Bitcoin price. So let that sink in. But anyways, fam, welcome everyone just joining the stream. Pump the likes to pump the stream. We now got over 250 people here on the tube. We're also streaming live on Rumble. Shout out Max Kaiser and everyone who retweeted the show earlier on X. Make sure you're following me on X, fam. All my social media contacts are always in the description as we continue to pump.
More than 5 sats in your stack, then get it on. Yeah. Had the people on my back to get a song. Where's broke, have a talk, we smoked them like a bomb.
Cheers to that, K-Jam. 420, send it. Hello, brothers. 21 days until the halving, buying all I can. Salute. Coming in loud and clear. Glad to hear that. Salute, Ivan Morales. Appreciate you. B Trader just hit 100K first. Nice.
Oh, yeah, we heard Kramer report that. Thank you. He said, sell, we bought more bags till we got a sword back.
By the end of this cycle, 50 sats per dollar, probably more accurate right there, because now I'm thinking about it. If we just 5x, then yeah, we're talking less than 200 sats per dollar. And what if we 10x'd or somewhere in between 5 and 10x? You're not going to be able to get so many sats so cheap. I think right now, if someone can run the math, how much is it to become a Satoshi heir, like a Satoshi millionaire? Last I checked, it was like $700. So it may be like 5 to 10,000 here soon by the end of the cycle. I already like the now. I am hitting the bong, says Joe. Enjoy that. Happy 420 all day, every day here on Crypto News Alerts. That's a big difference. Glad to hear it. It is. Happy Sunday, all from the UK. Shout out to the UK. Zach Hudson, welcome. Let's go. JV's coverage of the hijack and Bitcoin Amazon bestseller will be interesting.
Can't short your dork, we can't afford that. Wait for the pump to come, we should have bought that.
You already know. Crypto to zero. They really thought that.
Crypto to zero, they really thought that. Again.
I already like the now. I am. Yes, enjoy. 656, says David. Nice. So right now you can become a Satoshi millionaire for basically $656 US. It's not going to be that so cheap here for much longer. So I encourage everyone here, if you're not already, hop on board and get yourself $656 worth of Bitcoin, which would make you a Satoshi millionaire. The halving, not important. There's 1.8 million coins left, 440 years. Good point, T-Man. Well said.
Now, we all know Bitcoin is the best asset. You agree?
Agree. BlackRock can buy that. Satoshi millionaire today is about 950. Okay, thanks for the correction. If that's more accurate, it's going to continue to go up. Cheers, Barek. 10 sats to the dollar makes sense. Soon enough, we'll be rounding to the nearest. Yeah, man.
And there is no second best asset. And
the nearest 10 cents. We need to get back to the 70,000 this week, says Paul. Very probable. We're now, roughly 4,000 away. So we'll be retesting 70, blowing through it, hitting yet another price discovery to all-time highs. So you already know. But anyways, fam, if you're just joining the stream, pump the likes, pump the stream. Now over 300 people here on the tube. We're also broadcasting live on Rumble. So this is always a dual stream each and every day. Let's check out some of what's happening in the market right now. This headline is macro expert Luke Groman says he's super bullish on Bitcoin for the next 6 to 12 months. Here's why. He's the veteran investor, says Bitcoin's rising over the coming months on the back of favorable macroeconomic backdrop. In the new interview with journalist Natalie Brunell, he highlights the U.S. government's nearly $35 trillion in debt With the national debt sitting at record high levels, the macro expert says there's nothing the Fed can do to stop the resurgence of inflation, which will ultimately drive investors to seek shelter and store value assets like Bitcoin to preserve their wealth. Quoting him here, I am super bullish Bitcoin for the next 6 to 12 months at least, tactically and strategically, because whether the Fed hikes or whether the Fed cuts, it doesn't matter. In my opinion, inflation and fiscal deficits are going higher. The only way it doesn't happen is if the dollar is weakened, then fiscal deficits will actually trend lower. So my choices are higher rates and more inflation, lower rates and more inflation, or deficits down with a weaker dollar means more inflation and more debasement. I think it sets up really, really well for Bitcoin, and critically, the fundamentals are there. But when you look at positioning, there is still a lot of skepticism on Bitcoin, and there's still $6 trillion plus sitting in money market funds. There is still a lot of concern. There is still a lot of belief that the Fed's, inflation is picking back up. The Fed is going to come in and smack inflation back down. No. They can try, and you can get a pullback if we do go from Fed going to cut twice this year to the Fed going to hike this year. You're probably going to get a sell-off in Bitcoin and industrial stocks, maybe even gold for like a week or two. And then there's going to be this recognition of, oh God, the treasury market is dysfunctioning. You can't have that. So that's going to start the discussion. And ultimately 6% rates are going to be more inflationary on a lag than 5.25% because there's 35 trillion in debt and it's rising as a percent of GDP now. And Fed rate hikes will make it rise faster as a percent of GDP. So I am super bullish because I got fundamentals. They hike, it's inflation. And if they don't hike, it's inflationary. They don't hike, it's inflationary. They cut, it's inflationary. If they want to keep the wheels on the cart, they've got to weaken the dollar or continue to weaken the dollar, all of which is good for Bitcoin. And I think he makes a great point. I think that's common sense. The more they print, the weaker the dollar becomes. It has the opposite effect of scarcity. It has virtually an unlimited supply, and they just print as much as they choose. 35 trillion in debt. That debt is only likely to continue to increase. And someone tweeted here, Marvin, what do you make of this? Referring to this particular article put out by Cointelegraph, the EU enacts ban or anonymous crypto transactions via self-custody wallets. And then Max shared, you can't ban Bitcoin. You can only ban yourself from Bitcoin. Now, properly self-custodied wallets are unconfiscatable, and you can't ban Bitcoin. No government could shut it down. If they had the power to do so, they would have a very long time ago, over a decade ago, hands down. So shout out to the high priest and welcome everyone just joining the stream. What up, Cheryl? I lost a lot to SBF. Sorry to hear that. SBF is supposed to be having his sentencing trial at the end of this month. We'll see how that goes. I know his defense team is suggesting 4 to 6 years in prison, and the prosecutors are suggesting like 50 years to life. So it's going to be interesting. Dollar isn't going to zero, says Cheryl. What makes you so sure? Great to hear your voice, JV. Thank you, Neri. Keep stacking. Cheers. 74 USD equals 100 Canadian. Let's freaking go. Shut out one house. Yes, that's a flat return. If Bitcoin only goes up equal to the amount of dollar devalues, you break even. Yeah, you got to remember inflation and hyperinflation, which is occurring in Argentina right now. Their local peso lost like 270%-ish just this year. So a lot of people going crazy into Bitcoin and crypto and escaping their super hyperinflationary currencies. And we're witnessing this happening in America, just not as extreme yet. Welcome, Fernando. Savannah in the house. Cheers. Yes. Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday, everybody. Welcome, everyone joining the stream. Close to 400 people here. We have to have 420 people here by the time of the next story. Pump the like, help pump the stream. Here's a little bubble.
You can call me 3AC cause I'm blowing it up. Short squeeze, more please, yeah, it's going to pump. They drop foot, but it's still not slowing it up.
Nope. Welcome, everyone. Let's go. Cheers, Devon. When Bitcoin first was on the exchanges in May, you could purchase 10 Bitcoins for $1. The good old days, eh? 10 bitties for $1. How many of you would take advantage of that right now? 10 cents per biddy. Holy moly. And how many millions of Bitcoin would you buy? There are 6 countries using Bitcoin. What are those 6 countries, Cheryl? Could be more. I mean, there's hundreds and hundreds of countries. El Salvador being the first to make it a legal tender. I didn't look at the crypto prices. And there's even an island in Honduras we covered a couple episodes ago that has Bitcoin they're using as well. My highlight today has made Philly cheesesteaks. Nice. When will alt season start? I believe it started a long time ago. Look at the gains in the altcoin markets. Since Bitcoin's been on a tear, the alts always follow. So rising tide rises all ships. Wow. And then look at the crypto prices for 24 hours. It didn't matter. SBF should be released after making the FTX users whole. Well, I guess that's that's questionable. Some say they can't make everyone whole, and some say he is. Who really knows? Had some kombucha last night. Thought of JV. Nice. Citrus was great. Good to hear, Paul. Glad you're enjoying it. If one Bitcoin is worth $1 million and it costs $1 million to buy a cup of coffee, what good is that? Yeah, so more likely, if Bitcoin's $1 million, a cup of coffee only be a few thousand, so don't worry. So you never know. But anyways, fam, let's dive into our next story of the day. We did a little TA. Now let's discuss these Bitcoin ETFs and inflows, what's happening in the market now. The headline reads, ETF investors are the strong hands after gobbling up Bitcoin amid the recent sell-off. That's right. Bloomberg analyst, ETF expert Balchunas says the ETF investors are currently the strong hands that have been buying up this Bitcoin dip. He tells his followers on X that while Grayscale has seen outflows from its ETF, most of it is just one entity, Genesis, offloading into the Bitcoin spot. All in all, Balchunas says ETF investors are not the only ones behind the recent sell pressure and are buying the dip. As he shares here, the new boomer ETF investors are the strong ones, as we predicted. It's other Bitcoin owners behind the selling pressure. I'll explain. The 9 new Bitcoin ETFs have taken in about $1.2 billion in 5 days as the price declined 8%. GBTC had outflows, yes, but it is largely Genesis. We know this for a fact, who is simply exchanging GBTC shares for spot Bitcoin. So a net neutral event plus GBTC is all pre-ETF money. So if you add it up, the ETFs have been the net buyers of Bitcoin, and none of the new money has left. In fact, more has come in. So as usual, when it comes to sell-offs, the call is coming from inside the house. The analyst shares data from previous decades showing that the boomer ETF investors have historically held assets with conviction while allocating large amounts of capital when the price drops. So he points out that they invested hundreds of billions of dollars into stock market index ETFs in years when the equities were plummeting. Quoting him again, these boomer noobs poured $167 billion into ETFs in 2008. They are tougher than you think. Although, not to say they won't be some outflows here and there, but in my opinion, it'll be minimal and over time be a net positive. Now look at these ETF total flows. Pretty wild. You can see unprecedented levels with these Bitcoin ETFs. Let me know your thoughts as we approach the halvening. Do you think these ETF inflows will pick up steam? Because there is going to be a supply shock, common sense. The daily issuance is about to get slashed in half to the miners from 900 a day to 450. So if the demand picks up even more, it tells us all the available Bitcoin supply will dry up, leading to a supply shock, which crypto quant analysts are predicting will happen within the next 6 months. Let me know your thoughts. Welcome everyone joining the stream. XX. Point is, the inflationary pump of Bitcoin is not a good thing. It's just a hedge against a melting dollar. Bruno says, good morning, JV from Costa Rica. All clear here. Good to hear, Bruno. Welcome to the stream. Pump the likes to pump the stream. Much appreciated. I bought $200 worth yesterday and $200 last week. Stack sats forever. That's what's up, must have.
I can't wait till the feds start showing this love. The full flag on the chart got me blowing a nut.
Waiting for Hong Kong's ETFs to fuel the fire. Cheers to that. Only a matter of time. Also, ETFs out of El Salvador will be a coming. Jennifer, welcome. Shout out all the mods, Dankness, Jennifer, K-Jam, Coinfather, all the OGs. Appreciate your support. DJ in the building, what up? Mr. Polarizer. Crypto Day, welcome, welcome. Bitcoin is a nice hedge, in my opinion. Right on, Cheryl. At the gym now, JB, can you scream random motivational stuff for the next hour? I don't know, Alan. Enjoy your pump. Anyways, guys, we'll dive into our next story of the day. Discuss the latest from RFK Jr. and his stance on cryptocurrencies. U.S. presidential candidate RFK Jr. reiterated his support for crypto in a post recently on X. This was on Thursday, and you know him as the son of the former U.S. Attorney General and Senator Robert Kennedy and nephew of former U.S. President John F. Kennedy. Quoting him here from the tweet, "Cryptocurrency is the off-ramp for our addiction to the Federal Reserve. It is the best hedge against inflation, and it takes control away from the government and from monopolistic banking system, which uses money printing to shift wealth upward to the oligarchy of billionaires while impoverishing American regulars. Now, if you agree that crypto equals freedom, help me advance that vision as president." He added. Kennedy has been a longstanding advocate for Bitcoin and crypto, holding Bitcoin himself and buying some for his children in the previous year. He recently stressed that Bitcoin serves as an off-ramp from central banks' money printing machine, highlighting its status as a hard currency, also emphasizing the significance of transactional freedom, equating it with freedom of speech, which he believes is uniquely provided by Bitcoin. October last year, the presidential candidate promised that if elected president of the U.S., he would take steps to protect Bitcoin. Quoting him again, "I'm going to make sure that Bitcoin is protected, that people can keep their own wallets, and that with the current White House war on Bitcoin will be over, that transactions will be protected and encouraged." Moreover, in July last year, he revealed a proposal to back the U.S. dollar with Bitcoin. Very interesting, fam. Now, RFK Jr. is also opposed to central bank digital currencies, which we know as CBDCs. He and the former U.S. President Trump both vowed to prevent the Federal Reserve from issuing a digital dollar if elected. Quoting him here, "We should be wary since CBDCs are the ultimate mechanisms for social surveillance and control," he warned. "While cash transactions are anonymous, a CBDC will allow the government to surveil all our private financial affairs. The central bank will have the power to enforce dollar limits on our transactions, restricting where you can send money, where you spend it, and when money expires." And he makes a great point there, because who wants money with an expiration date? It's bad enough. You don't want to be saving. Fiat, as Saylor described it, as a melting ice cube due to inflation. So yeah, would make no sense to ever use USD as a form of savings.
That is why we are here, right? Because we need an asset. Bitcoin is the best. There is no second best.
That's right. Welcome everyone just joining us. As a rule, the first will be steered by the few humans, pretty much. Do you think the U.S. government will be able to do anything against Bitcoin? No. All they can do is control the on-ramps and off-ramps, in which they do. We call those things exchanges. Anytime there's a transaction of fiat into Bitcoin or vice versa, that's recorded. And that's how they monitor and control on-ramps and off-ramps. They can go after the crypto exchanges, which we see. They shake them down. Kraken had to pay last year like a $30 million fine. Then a few months later, they launched another lawsuit against Kraken and wanted to shake them down for more money. But thank God that the SEC is finally losing in these higher up, courts. And they're obviously overreaching, and they're being called out and losing lawsuit after lawsuit. But yeah, definitely overreaching going on. They can try to control things through those means, but they're very restricted on other forms of control. They can manipulate futures markets, obviously, in which they have a track record of doing. Banks like JP Morgan, have paid over $30 billion worth of fines for doing illegal things like this. 100,000 on May 19th. Remember this date? Time Traveler told me. Send it, May 19th.
Let me do my thing. We bout as long as a piece of string.
Saving in fiat currency? Oh no, pretty much, K-Jam. Pretty much. U.S. government has the largest Bitcoin allocation, don't they, from the Bitfinex hack? Yeah, they hold a lot of Bitcoin because of the seizures. So that's how they acquire theirs. So they obviously have exposure. Most countries have some form of direct or indirect exposure, maybe through Bitcoin miners, or, you know what I mean? Even Russia is opening up a Bitcoin mining hub in Ethiopia. Kane, May 19th. Menendez, bonk silly, doing something crazy. SEC is only losing for now. Longer term power consolidation is a creeping force. People have fiat, their fiat. Oh, what do we call that?
But like most of the people who are buying assets at some point want to sell the assets at a profit.
Not here, yo. But anyways, next story of the day, we broke down the latest from independent candidate RFK Jr. discussing backing the dollar with Bitcoin, which would be an interesting concept. But anyways, let's discuss this $2.5 billion seizure. The headline reads, hospitality worker caught with 2.5 billion Bitcoin, found guilty of money laundering. So yeah, this hospitality worker reportedly been found guilty of money laundering in a UK specialized court for major fraud cases following the discovery of 2.5 billion worth of Bitcoin in her possession. According to the recent BBC report, the South Wark Crown Court has found Jian Wen guilty of laundering money using Bitcoin to purchase multi-million pound houses and jewelry. The investigation involves scrutiny of 48 electronic devices and thousands of digital files, many of which were translated from Mandarin, so clearly Chinese. Wen's change in lifestyle was what drew the attention from the authorities. In 2017, she reportedly went from living in a flat above a Chinese restaurant to renting a 6-bedroom house in North London, costing approximately $21,000 per month. And it was the attempted purchase of the $30 million mansion in London that was the ultimate red flag for the authorities to investigate her. During the same year, she reportedly attempted to purchase several expensive houses in London, but faced challenges passing money laundering checks, despite her claims of earning millions from Bitcoin mining. The UK police claimed that the seizure was the largest of its kind in the UK. Wen was convinced of entering into or becoming concerned in a money laundering arrangement and is due to be sentenced May 10th, which is a couple of weeks out. Chief Crown Prosecutor Andrew Penhale reiterated digital assets' prominent use in criminal activity in recent times, quoting him here, Bitcoin and other cryptos are increasingly being used by organized criminals to disguise and transfer assets so that fraudsters may enjoy the benefits of their criminal conduct. Now, call a spade a spade. There's nothing used more as a form of money than the US dollar for illicit activity. And that's just stating facts. And I think it'd be kind of silly, or very silly, for criminals to use Bitcoin for illicit activity because it's all documented and recorded on the blockchain. However, a recent report from the US Treasury Department contradicts the common claim by authorities that crypto is a popular choice for money laundering, declaring that cash continues to be the preferred option. There you go. Untraceable. And as reported, the Treasury highlighted the anonymity and stability of cash as a means of payment as a primary reason why it remains the preferred method of laundering illicit proceeds. Similarly, stock exchange company the NASDAQ recently released its global financial crime report, highlighting data related to financial crime over the past year with no mention of Bitcoin or crypto. The report estimated that in 2023, last year, around 3.1 trillion in illicit funds flowed through the global financial system. That's a lot of money. That's more than the Bitcoin market cap in of itself. That's more than double. So you already know the dollar is the king of illicit activity, but you guys already know. Welcome, Casey. It's worth 3.4 billion now with the Bitcoin pumping. Insane, right? Crazy. Living in a flat, virtually a studio above a Chinese restaurant, to having 2.5 billion worth of Bitcoin and buying $20 million mansions. Bitcoin is very traceable. This is true. What up, Donna? Welcome. Bitcoin is a distributed ledger. Facts. The time chain. Personally, I would just hold your Bitcoin for all Fox. Eventually, you'll be able to borrow against it. Good insights there, Jennifer. What up, more monkey business? They're coming for the wallets next. They can try.
Too many frauds and scams.
These clowns trying to take us down. What a guy. Wow, what a guy.
But anyways, guys, keep the comments flowing. We now got 500 people here roughly on the YouTube stream. Shout out to the Rumble fam as well. Let's break down our next story of the day, discuss this $500,000 target for the halving, and then we'll discuss Cathie Wood's latest 75 trillion Bitcoin market cap prediction, along with a very high, the highest we've ever heard yet for her Bitcoin price prediction here shortly. So pump the likes, pump the stream, and let's get it. With the Bitcoin market cap at a new all-time high of 1.45 trillion, the bulls are taking an offensive stance well before the halving, as Bitcoin showing a remarkable reversal in late 2023 and continuing throughout this year, 2024. The bull market sustains the dominance for this bull run. The general sentiment finds the growing inflows in the Bitcoin ETF as the major catalyst. However, the ongoing pullback ignores the ETF inflows as the profit booking starts. Further, the rising global tension with the terror attack on Moscow is threatening a downfall. Nevertheless, the upcoming Bitcoin halving, 21 days away, teases a bull run like always. With the historic record of igniting bull runs, the anticipations are high for the upcoming halving, but how high will the Bitcoin price hit post 2024 halving? Let's take a look and discuss it. With a rise of almost 300% from December 2022, the Bitcoin bull run is starting early, well before the halving year. After the successful recovery in 2023, the Bitcoin price forms a rounding bottom reversal in the weekly chart, as outlined right here. Further, with the recent spike to the new all-time high, which sits at 73.8, the Bitcoin price gives a bullish breakout to this trend continuation pattern. Currently, a bearish week is coming after a slump makes an evening star pattern. However, to the optimistic eye, this pullback is a retest of the bullish breakout. Hence, the possibility of a bounce back is growing per the price action. And further, the Bitcoin price can hit the new all-time high with the halving event 21 days out. As per the Fibonacci levels, the uptrend could hit the 1.68 Fibonacci level in the initial weeks of the Bitcoin halving. Hence, the Bitcoin price expected to scale close to $100,000. Let me know if you guys agree that we can hit 100,000 around that time of the halving in 3 weeks. And as per the log Bitcoin price chart, as you can see on your screen, the monthly time frame showcases a rising channel in formation. And further, the ongoing reversal comes with a potential rounding bottom breakout. And considering the uptrend shows a similar price movement as to the last Bitcoin halving in 2025, the hodlers are in for a massive ride. And while Bitcoin witnessed the last bull run to achieve more than an 800% rally in a year, a similar price could send us to make a 100,000 target seem like child's play. This is because the bull could potentially reach the overhead resistance in the rising channel and dominate the $500,000 mark. In other words, the log price chart teases a target of $500,000 per coin. Let me know if you agree or disagree with this $500,000 Bitcoin price target for this cycle, and when do you feel we're likely to strike this level? Holla. And I'm going to read some of your comments out loud, and then we'll dive into our featured story of the day from ARK Invest CEO Cathie Wood. Is she fine? She'll never tell. Must have been a good one. Watching on 2X, waiting to catch up to the live. Right on, Crim. Enjoy. Chipmunk JV. How much Bitcoin did you lose on the moon? Lost mine in a boat accident. Lost mine in a deep sea submersible accident. Enjoy the dips and pumps. Buckle up. Volatility equals vitality. Exactly, Mark.
People that use fiat currency.
Mufa, do you do what time it is? It's Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I've been saying that we'll reach 100,000 by the halving for quite a while. This is true. Jennifer repeats the prediction every stream. We appreciate the bullishness.
As a store of value.
What do we call them, folks?
We call them poor. We call them poor.
Lost mine in a missing sock. It happens, Silas. 100,000, yes. Send it. When do you guys think we hit 100,000? Let me know in the chat. We got 500 people here on the tube. We also got a jam-packed house and Rumble. Shout out to the Rumble fam. Let me know.
People that use fiat
Yes, tell them.
Currency. We call them poor. We call them poor. We call
Precisely. Anyways, fam. Now for our feature story of the day. BlackRock and Fidelity ETF Bombshell triggers a massive $75 trillion Bitcoin price prediction for the market cap from none other than the ARK Invest CEO, Cathie Wood. Shout out Tay Lee. I appreciate you subbing to the #1 daily Bitcoin pod. So yeah, let's break this down. This is the latest, and this is actually a Forbes article, which was just published here this morning. So here's the latest. As you know, Bitcoin rocketed over the last year, topping its previous all-time high with the new all-time high at 73,800, adding around 350% since crashing to a recent low of 15,000 per Bitcoin, largely thanks to a fleet of spot Bitcoin ETFs taking Wall Street by storm, which officially it was January 11th, just over a couple of months ago that the ETFs went live. Now, after Coinbase revealed it's backing BlackRock's $5 trillion by 2030 game changer, famed stock picker and Bitcoin bull Cathie Wood has hiked her Bitcoin price prediction, betting a coming Bitcoin price surge will give Bitcoin a market cap of $75 trillion by the end of the decade. So, wow, that's got to be like 70x from where we're at, quoting her here. Last year, we put out our bull case for Bitcoin. It was 1.5 million, said Wood. The chief executive of disruptive technology investor, ARK, said on stage at the New York Bitcoin Investor Day conference, and it was reported by Business Insider, quoting her again, with this institutional green light that the SEC has provided, kicking and screaming, though it did, the analysis we have done is that if institutional investors were to allocate a little more than 5% of their portfolios to Bitcoin, as we think they will over time, that alone could add 2.3 million to the projection I just gave you, Wood said, referring to the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission waiving through almost a dozen spot Bitcoin ETFs. Again, officially that took place January 11th. The Wall Street giants BlackRock and Fidelity, BlackRock being the largest asset manager in the world, and I think they control roughly 10 trillion in assets under management, and Fidelity has roughly 4.5 trillion, so half the size of BlackRock, but still giants. They emerged as the two largest of the new Bitcoin ETF issuers, raking in assets under management of around 15 billion and 9 billion, respectively. Wood's own ARK21 Bitcoin ETF now holds almost 40,000 Bitcoin, worth 2 billion on behalf of investors. Wood's new Bitcoin price prediction could see Bitcoin hitting $3.8 million by 2030. That's right. This is the most bullish price prediction we've heard from Cathie Wood. It just gets more bullish as time goes. A massive near 6,000% increase from the current price action of 65,000 and a market cap of 1.2 trillion. Quoting her again, we think Bitcoin has miles to go. We're at the very beginning of really putting in place the financial ecosystem native to the internet and disintermediating all of the toll takers. So there you go. And after a period of huge growth following their launch, the new spot Bitcoin ETFs, including Grayscale's coveted trust, saw outflows over 4 days straight this week, according to BitMEX data, as Bitcoin price swung wildly due to the traders trying to stay ahead of the Fed's interest rate cut expectations. And meanwhile, traders are turning their attention to the Bitcoin halving occurring in roughly 3 weeks, which, quoting Michael Morch here, founder of the digital asset investment fund ARK36, rather than solely attributing Bitcoin's current fluctuations to the impending halving, we suggest a nuanced view, considering factors like spot Bitcoin ETF flows, evolving miner profitability, post-halving, and general market psychology with high greed levels on pretty much all fronts. So with more Bitcoin retracements potentially looming and historical patterns indicating potential turbulence, we advise investors to read or tread carefully while exploring opportunities amid the uncharted territory of the 2024 halving. So there you have it. He's ultimately saying expect more volatility. As I preach every day, expect extreme volatility leading into the halving and extreme volatility preceding the halving, but we perceive volatility as a good thing. It equals opportunity. And as Michael Saylor says, it equals life force, which means a very strong market. So take advantage of it. And what are your thoughts on the Bitcoin market cap tagging Cathie Wood's target of 75 trillion as far as the market cap by 2030 with a $3.8 million Bitcoin price action? That's roughly 6 years from now. I want to know your thoughts. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you think we can achieve $1 million? By what year? Could you see that happening this cycle, as Samson Mao is predicting and some others are? Or do you think that will happen next cycle? I'd love to know your thoughts. Holla in the live chat. Shout out Doug, just gifted a membership, MicroStrategy membership of the channel to Pharrell Ferris Fox. So Pharrell, you've just been hooked up. You can thank Doug for that. We thank you, Doug. Calm seas don't make experienced sailors. Welcome, Mick Footnader. The rest is hard to say. Depends on which crisis emerges and news next. Does the cycle play out unimpeded or not? Good question. Could there be a black swan? What do you guys think? Let me know. New faces in here. Where are y'all in the bear market? Asked Matthew. You're going to be my exit liquidity. Thanks for the info, JV. You're very welcome. Crypto Today. Appreciate you tuning in, joining the stream. Cathie is so cute, thinking the country will be here in 2030, says Thomas. Cheryl, she is bullish. The rest is hard to say. Depends on which coin emerges in the news next. Does the cycle? Yeah. Good questions. Lost my Bitcoin when Elizabeth Warren's crypto army attacked me. Sorry to hear that, Big K. Don't let Senator Warren get your biddies.
We call them the core. We call them the core.
Dreamscape says, damn, I need to leave America. And where will you go? Will you go to Bitcoin country in El Salvador? Amazing. Should the price everything in sats? Only a matter of time, Toasty Toast. Looks like they're trying to start World War III with Russia, says Jennifer. And we all know fiat breeds war and violence, and Bitcoin breeds peace and love. The choice is yours. Bitcoin's going to do Bitcoin things. All models will be broken. Tell him, Matthew.
There's a name for it.
Hodling in St. George, Utah. Shout out Bitcoin Aussie. Lady Jojo, welcome. 2029 will be the $1 million Bitcoin. I dig it. Send it. I'm moving to Prospera. Oh, that's in Honduras. That's the place. Yes, Bitcoin, a new Bitcoin island. Shout out Moses. I would move to El Salvador if ishcoining were legal. Yeah, ishcoining is illegal in El Salvador. So you don't want to be an ishcoiner out there. It's Bitcoin maxi country. You basically got two legal tenders. You got Bitcoin and Tether USDT. What's good, Jay Ford? Even a black swan, we get to buy cheap Bitcoin. True. How many people can El Salvador hold? Many more.
We call them the core.
Yo, welcome Steve Stifler, the Stiffinator, the Stiffmeister. Welcome to the stream. No coiners will be like, uh-oh. They will never have any Bitcoin. Cognitive dissonance is a powerful force. Tell them 2 for 1.
We call them the core.
Welcome everyone joining the stream. Pump the likes to pump the stream if you're enjoying today's session. We're also streaming on Rumble. Shout out to the Rumble fam. Yes, Ishcoin in El Salvador. They throw tomatoes and oranges at you. Precisely, KJM. There's also a Bitcoin jungle in Costa Rica. It appears as a farmer's market, but they sell everything, a little bit of everything. That's awesome. Peer to peer. That's how it should be. Brother, give some predictions, buy or sell. If you're in it for the long haul, buying is always what the smart money is doing, accumulating sats.
Okay.
Let me just say,
Guess who's back?
What is that? Wolverines for Bitcoin and freedom. Tell him, M. How's the Nippinator? Nippinator is good. He's sporting a sweater here in Florida. It's a little cooler than Puerto Rico. Hey, how long will this bearish moment last? Is this what you consider a bearish moment? Give it to the evening. We'll be back in a bullish moment. Exactly, Joe Follin. My sentiment.
Back again.
I'm just
Gary's back. Tell a friend.
Before you know it, we'll be back where we left off.
Which one's the best crypto asset? Well, Bitcoin's the best crypto asset. Okay. What's the second best?
There is no second best.
It's called alchemy, David. Small cap Sid. FTX is now allowed to sell $1 billion worth of Bitcoin, apparently. Oh boy. When are they going to offload their Solana? Or have they done that already?
I'm not selling. Now,
Bitcoin and things like it is the equivalent of the red pill.
Bitcoin, etc. You pointed out the only true use case.
The only true use cases for Bitcoin are
For it is criminals, drug traffickers, anti-money laundering,
tell them, Jamie Dimon.
tax avoidance.
to the Bitcoin Miami conference last week and El Salvador making Bitcoin legal tender, I got so inspired. I had
Criminals, drug traffickers.
Crypto is always going to be around the moment till forever. Precisely, Devon. Precisely. $75 trillion Bitcoin is a lot, JV. Well, it's not really. $75 trillion market cap with a $700 trillion total addressable market. Eventually, all that capital is going to be parked in the apex predator, because who would want it parked in an inferior asset? So, could happen. Can you change gold to Bitcoin? Yes, alchemy, precisely. You can change gold for Bitcoin, US dollars for Bitcoin, anything. I still need to know what is anti-money laundering. I think he just like slipped up when he was testifying and he just said that. That's what makes it so funny.
Anti-money laundering, tax avoidance. Criminals.
the largest corporate fine at the time.
Such a classic track. Precisely, K-Jam, you nailed it. But here's what we're going to do, fam. We're going to end the YouTube stream. We're going to continue with the uncensored version of the pod for a little bit on Rumble for our Rumble fam. We appreciate that. If you enjoyed today's stream, make sure to put that thumbs up. It helps out tremendously with the YouTube algorithm, and we greatly appreciate that. And I'll be posting the edited version, which is a condensed version of today's live this evening at 10 p.m. Eastern, so be on the lookout for that. But deuces to the YouTube, and let's head on over to Rumble. It's rumble.cryptonewsalerts.net, or simply click the link in the description, or just open up Rumble and type in Crypto News Alerts.